Hello everyone and welcome back to Superboy Beyond, and we are watching one of the best episodes from season 4. I know it's the writer J.M Dematteis' favourite episode that he wrote for the show.
Just so everybody is aware, there is a reason why I am so low down in the camera.
Yeah.
The computer is starting to go.
Yeah.
And every time I move the screen to adjust the camera, it shuts it off. So I'm not touching anything.
Yeah. This is the third attempt, by the way. Like the computer shut off mid-conversation twice. So we're just not going to touch it now and hope for the best.
As soon as we finish recording today, I am heading over to Best Buy to buy myself a brand new computer. So next time, well, after these 2 episodes go up with Know Thine Enemy, the next time you guys will see me, we have a few other episodes that are already in the can, but
well, this is going to be like the latest episode. The next time they see you,
the next time you see me, it will be a different background, and it will be on a brand new computer.
A different background? Why are you going to work downstairs?
I'll either work from the basement or I'll work in my room.
Cool.
Of course, if I work in my room, you guys will get to see the collection.
That's fine. That would be cool. And who knows as well, if you get a new laptop, I'm sure the webcam will probably be slightly improved, because I know the one you're on at the moment is quite an old one.
Yeah, this is my dad's old HP.
Do you even know what resolution your webcam is on that at the moment?
I'm not even going to ask.
No.
But when I go down to Best Buy, I will be asking them for a computer that's good for both gaming, since I do my Star Trek Online.
Yeah, you're going
and
to need it
for podcasting.
Yeah, good webcam. The microphone, I'm sure, will be fine. They're all pretty decent these days with laptops and stuff. They're usually pretty good now.
And maybe I'll actually be able to use my headset that I used to use back when we first started.
Does it not work on this laptop then?
It stopped working. That should have been my first inclination that something was wrong with the computer.
Well, next week, I guess you'll see. Maybe not next week, probably be the week after, because we're going to record both parts to No Line Enemy, unless the computer breaks again, in which case we'll just delay part 2 recording to next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chris will have a slightly better computer by then. So
yep.
Yeah. Not that it's actually been an issue. So until now,
Usually the one who has most of the computer issues is you.
Yeah, I mean, not so much lately. Not so much lately. Thankfully. When I had my laptop and I was still on my old MacBook, I had some issues.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get going. This is season 4, episode 7, No Line Enemy. The probably the best Lex Luthor episode. In 3, 2, 1, play. Yeah, so I know that J.M Dematteis, I mentioned this already, but he has said that this is his favourite episode that he wrote for the show.
Yep.
Maybe if we ever get him on as a guest, we'll do this one. Excuse me. We'll do this one again with him.
Yeah, that would be a great idea to kind of get the insights of the writer himself.
It'd be great to know as well, is there anything that changed from script to screen? Because we know that usually when they get on set, some things work, some things don't, and stuff changes. I'd love to know if there were any scenes that were slightly different in the original draft.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing Lana's apartment before. Is this the only episode we actually get to see her apartment?
I think it is. I think this is the only time we ever get to see anything of her apartment.
And all we get to see is that one wall and a bed and alarm clock.
Yep.
It's probably the same set they used for Clark's apartment. They just changed the angle or something.
Probably. And, the way Sherman Howard is playing this, he's playing Lex very manic, very over the top.
Yeah, he's playing him crazier than he ever has before. And for good reason. It makes sense for this particular episode to do that.
Yeah.
It's funny how he starts off shouting sort of in that manic state, but he ends it almost with a whisper. Like it's quite creepy how he changes. It's a good performance. Hmm. I do like the set with all the lighting, and it's the way that it's slightly smoky. Like it's got good atmosphere to it.
Yeah.
I miss when TV wasn't afraid to get slightly stylistic with the lighting choices. Like everything's just made to look real these days. I miss when you could just stick a couple of like coloured light bulbs in the background to liven up a set. Unfortunately, I think cinematography's got very functional in recent years.
There's the whole there's benefits to having things look realistic, but when it comes down to stuff like this, you need a
You
layer
need
to
the
look.
fantastical. Yeah.
Yeah, you need the odd. Not everything needs to look like you're walking into a room in your house.
Yeah. I'm glad though that we seem to have moved past just everything having a very grey filter over it. Like at least shows aren't afraid to show colour again.
Yeah.
It's a very Lois Lane moment for Lana there, isn't it? You can really imagine like Terry Hatcher's Lois doing exactly that moment.
Season 1, Terry Hatcher. Season 2, not so much.
I don't know. She still got into scrapes and took big risks. By season 4, though, the whole show had just basically become a parody of itself.
Mm.
I know there's people that like season 4, but I can't stand it.
There are certain things about it that were good. There's certain things that were meh.
Yeah. And yeah, that season 4 version of the suit is so my favourite. I just think the colours are just perfect this season.
Mm.
I do like that prop. I wonder if that still exists somewhere.
Probably not.
I'd laugh if it's just in the back of like the Superman Museum or something. They're not
Mm.
quite sure what it is, so they can't put it out yet. Unfortunately, with Superboy, there's so many obscure episodes and props and stuff, isn't there?
Yeah. I like how the fact that the Lex Luthor hologram inside the computer actually has the bald cap.
Yeah. I wish they'd actually put him in the bald cap for more episodes. It might have been fun since they put him in the cap already. Keep him bald through this entire episode. Like, as far as he's concerned, the world's about to end. Why should he bother with a wig? Like, that could have been fun.
My in-universe explanation on that is that, even though he knows the universe is about to end, he's still a vain man.
I suppose, yeah. And this is my favourite of his wigs. Like, he's worn this one in a few episodes, but it's one where it looks enough like real hair to be passable, but just enough like a wig that you can still tell that it's not actually his hair.
This, I've always called this his Shatner hair.
Yeah, it's very movie
this
era.
Looks very much like Shatner's hair from Star Trek II.
Absolutely.
So what's happening here is Clark is trying to figure out where Lex is, and he's using the computer to probe into Lex's mind, the recordings of his mind. But what he doesn't realize is that Lex has set this up as a trap.
He's trying to corrupt Superboy, basically.
Well, no, he's not trying to corrupt him. He's basically trying to trap him in his mind so that he can't stop him from detonating the bomb.
There's the bit later where Superboy is almost going to kill the father, and that, like, he's definitely corrupting him. Like, he's making Superboy almost believe that he is Luthor to a certain extent. Like, it's a very cerebral plan. And I think the actor they've got playing the father, who I'm just going to call Lionel because I don't know what his name is in the show. I don't even know if they did name him in this version. But he's doing a pretty good performance. It's very creepy.
Yeah.
He'll never beat what's his name? The guy from Smallville. Like, he's John Glover. Like, yeah. I don't think anyone will ever beat him. If you want a father of Lex Luthor, I think he's pretty much the best you're going to get. It's quite a simple prop they've got on his head there, but I think it works. It's just a couple of little LEDs and just stuff they've thrown together, but no, it works. It looks great. I'm glad they didn't go the route of like putting on like a full like VR helmet type thing. Like, get out like a Virtual Boy from storage and spray it silver. It would have been very easy to do something like that.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, if they used one of those, it wouldn't look as high tech as what he's got right now.
No, they'd have to glue like extra buttons and stuff to it to make it look extra complicated. I mean, it kind of just looks like it's a stethoscope or something. And they've just put a couple of LEDs in it.
Yeah, it actually does look like that. And my whole thing about this is how much of this is just Lex's warping of reality?
I imagine a lot of it.
Because remember, memory is the one thing that, it's very...
Memory is very, very flawed with all humans. It's why eyewitness testimony is not the best thing to base a court case on,
Unless you've got corroborating evidence around it.
Yeah, exactly. Just on its own, it means nothing. But yeah, there's like little details, like the sister almost seeming like too perfect as a kid's sister. Plus, Luthor's previous bragging about drowning his sister's kittens put some doubt in my mind. Even just the detail that Lex said a moment ago, like, remember when I calculated pi to the last digit? Nobody else could do it. I don't think pi has a last digit. Isn't that the point? That it just goes on and on and on and on,
Well,
seemingly
I
forever.
think that whole line is meant to establish just how smart Lex actually is.
I mean, he's smart. He's the smartest man on Earth, probably. But I don't know if calculating to the last digit of pi is possible. So I know it's just meant as a clue as to his intelligence, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's just another lie. Because let's face it, if there's one thing bigger than Lex Luthor's brain, it's his ego. And he absolutely would lie about something like that.
I hate to say this, but when I was a kid, every time I was watching this, every time they pan in over onto Lana sitting next to Superboy, there was one spot my eyes were drawn to, and I think you know what it was.
I mean, I don't know if you could help it as a young teen watching this show. You were in your formative years.
Yeah.
I'm sure the show's producers and costume designers made that a focus, especially in some of the earlier episodes when it seemed that there were episodes written just so Stacey would have to wear a bikini. Like it was
Yeah.
obvious that a lot of the set pieces were just based around that. That's late 80s, early 90s TV for you, I suppose. You're right. It's a very Shatner-esque wig, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not exactly the same, but it's so close. Like it's close enough that you almost have to wonder whether it's actually the same kind of wig, like the same model of wig or whatever. If this shot in the same city as the Star Trek movies, then I would say maybe it's actually the same wig, but I can't see that.
Yeah. And these two episodes also give us an insight into what he really thinks of Darla.
Darla, yeah. I am glad that at least, when they introduced the sister, they did keep her name as Lena, because how many people watching this show do you think would have actually been familiar with the comics? They could have changed the name if they wanted.
Well, it just shows that J.M. Dematteis is a comic book fan as well as a writer.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is another great episode that's just a fantastic excuse for Gerard to play like a villainous role for a little while. Just like with Body Swap or Super Menace,
Yeah.
Or Road's Not Taken with the Sovereign.
Or Kryptonite Kid with Vic.
True. Yeah. Vic's more of a sleaze bag than a villain, though. He just wanted to make some money, He saw
Yep.
that he had a unique gift in what he looked like, and he wanted to take advantage of it.
And here's the problem that I have. Okay, he's planning on killing both of his parents,
Mm.
and he wants Lena out. Does he not realize that the mother is just as abused as the two of them?
Well, I think in this episode, didn't they say like he basically blames the mother for not, protecting them or whatever? Like to a certain extent, even though she's abused too, he blames the mother just as much because she never stood up to him. But you're right. It's logically it doesn't make any sense because the mother is just as much a victim of the father as they are.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen abused families. I mean, we had a situation like that in our own family, and the kids didn't blame the mother because they were abused, and she was abused too.
But I suppose Lex is already, by this point, absolutely a narcissist. He's already kind of transitioning into being like a sociopath or a psychopath. Yeah, Lex is already evil by this point. I guess he just wanted the sister to himself. Maybe he thought he could do a better job. Clearly
Or
that didn't work out though.
or there's something else going on between him and the sister that let's not say.
I mean, Lex Luthor's kind of a dark, creepy guy, but I don't know if that would be a thing. I think he just wanted to take care of her, to be honest, and he figured he could do it. He could do a better job of it without the mother.
Mm.
Decent split screen though.
Yeah,
It's
very.
not perfect. The camera's a little bit jittery, which is ruining the illusion a tiny bit, but putting the hand there is a clever idea. You know, that's just a body double, just a hand double.
Yeah.
Very cleverly put together. Like, you know, when Superboy and the Sovereign were struggling fighting against each other, that looked good too, but I do think it actually looked slightly better there. I think they really sold the effect well.
The only thing that I have a problem with when it comes to the robot body is, why is he using Warren Eckworth's face on the robot body?
True, but I mean, I guess by this point they were basically ignoring that plot point. They'd already ignored it for Roads Not Taken by this point. I guess it was just a retcon by now.
Mm.
But yeah, you would expect that if he was going to make a robot body, he'd probably want to do it with his original face. Make himself young again, you know, undo what he had to do at the beginning of season 2.
Mm.
But then that would have required getting Scott Wells back, and I don't think they were interested in doing that.
And there's definitely retcons, the lines from the Fixer.
Yeah. I mean, season 1's Lex was supposedly very, very wealthy. Maybe he got it from the insurance policy or something, and he just lied about his family or whatever. But you'd think Leo, since he grew up with Lex, would know the truth.
Yeah, well, maybe Lex threatened Leo and said, "Look, I'm rich. I've always been rich, and you're going to keep it that way."
Yeah. Maybe that's part of why Lex never respected Leo, because Leo was very much treating Lex with kid gloves the way that the mother was treating the father. Maybe he saw his mother in Leo and was like, yeah, I don't like you, but you're useful for the moment. I know I'm retconning with headcanon at the moment, but it would make sense, I think.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, yeah, Leo is basically acting like a slightly abused wife, isn't he? Through the first season, like he's definitely terrified of Lex,
And with good reason. I mean, he
and
probably
you can
knows.
tell.
He knows what Lex did to his own parents.
But you can tell with Leo as well. Like, this is one of the things I like about Michael Mann's performance in it. When he's not with Lex, Leo is played with so much more confidence. It's just he's only nervous when Lex is by his side. Like that scene when Clark and TJ go to the dorm room and try and question. It's in Luthor Unleashed, and they're questioning Leo about where Luthor is or what he's up to or something with Lana. Leo is so confident in that scene in a way that he never is with Lex.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the end of that episode. I got pretty off topic there, but I think with this episode, getting into Luthor's backstory, it's relatively, justified.
Yes.
Anyway, so that was No Line Enemy Part 1.
Yep.
Good little cliffhanger. We'll see you next week for Part 2. Let's not bother giving it a score yet. We'll score them both together.
Yep.
We'll see you next week. We're gonna I want to get straight into the next episode, so we're not gonna talk much now. See you then. Bye-bye.